I am Heidi Honeycutt, and I'm at the Imagine Film Festival to promote my new book, I Spit on Your Celluloid, The History of Women Directing Horror Movies. And we've got a lovely panel and some women filmmakers who are going to be on it, and we're going to talk all about women directing horror. I am a total genre nerd. In fact, I've spent the last 20 years researching and writing a book about horror movies directed by women. Now, nobody would do that unless they were absolutely out of their mind, right? I also spend the rest of my time writing about other horror movies, programming horror movies for festivals, going to festivals where I watch other people's horror movies, and then sometimes I just watch the movies at home by myself on my couch in my pajamas. So I am just a giant genre nerd. My two favorite fantastic genres are horror comedy and tragedy horror. So let me explain that. By horror comedy, I think we all know what that means. That means, like, my favorite horror comedy is Dead Alive by Peter Jackson. Things that are just absolutely crazy, out of control, funny, but also horrifying. I also like movies where really horrible things happen to people and they just almost die from how horrible it is, but they don't. And then you kind of get to be a masochist and feel their pain. I'm talking about movies like Pet Sematary or Hereditary, where just you leave the movie feeling like you just want to stab yourself in the stomach. When people ask me what is my favorite scary movie, about 10 or 20 different movies immediately hit my brain, and I want to say all of them, but I can't say all of them. So what I have to do is pick the movie that I think encompasses what we all mean by favorite, which is, what do I consider the best, cinematically, story-wise, accessibility to the audience, and profundity in terms of storytelling as a whole. And I would have to pick The Thing by John Carpenter, because not only is it one of the best movies ever made, it's definitely, if it's not in your top one, it's in your top two. If it's not in your top two, it's in your top three. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, you know, that movie is just not very good, because it's actually brilliant. And I think it's the best horror movie ever made. I would like to live in Rainbow Valley from the original My Little Ponies animated cartoon TV series. And I know that sounds awful, but if you think about it, so it's this beautiful place filled with rainbows and magical ponies that are all really nice and cuddly and sweet. And there's lots of grass and flowers, which I like. And you can also be 10 years old forever, which is what I would like to do in Ponyland. So that's absolutely my ideal fantasy place. My favorite movie character is Brenda from the Scary Movies. She's just about the funniest character in the entire world. I quote her all the time. Me and my best friend just constantly quote each other Brenda. Brenda is amazing. Brenda is life. Brenda is God. Brenda is everything. And if they don't put Brenda in the new Scary Movie 6 that's coming out, I'm not going to see it. Whenever my best friend and I want to complain about somebody that's bothering us or something that's annoying us, we like to quote Brenda from Scary Movie 1. And we like to go, out of my face, like that. Or like, this is all at me up in here, because it is. And we always ask ourselves, what would Brenda do? You know, and whatever Brenda would do is what I want to do, always. I would rather be a master villain. I think a lot of people are going to answer that question this way because we're all sort of dark and we like dark, spooky things. And being a master villain, you can get away with some things that you can't get away with when you're a superhero. So a superhero is held to a really high moral standard, right? And that's really hard. It's hard for me every day in my normal human life. I really don't want to have to deal with that as a superhero. So I would rather kind of just be an exaggerated version of myself, which I think would make me a villain, because all I'd want to do is maybe I'd be like Poison Ivy, where I'd be like, I like plants more than people, and I would just grow plants all over the Gotham City Hall or whatever. Or I would really like cats. You know, I'd surround myself with cats, and I'd be like, oh, and I'm Catwoman, I guess. You know, so to me, a lot of the villains sometimes actually seem like better people than the heroes. Like, for instance, Batman's a billionaire, right? And Gotham City is filled with people in poverty. And he thinks that the best way to handle that is by like dressing up at night and going out and like beating people up. And I'm like, what about giving all of your money to Poison Ivy and Dr. Freeze so they can work on climate change and make the world a better place? Like, I think that would be a much better use of the money. So anyway, villain, that's my answer. I became a genre expert and author and film programmer because I honestly didn't know what the hell else to do with my life. I got a couple of really useless degrees. I got a useless master's degree. I learned a lot. I'm really, really good at reading things, but nobody wants to pay me to do that. So I had to find something that I could do that I would get paid for in some small way so that I wouldn't starve to death. And it seemed like the only place where I fit in the world where I'm actually able to contribute in a meaningful way is to the film community, in particular the horror film community. And I'm eternally grateful for that, because otherwise I would still be working at like the mortgage company as an assistant, and I would just be so bored and tired and unhappy. And instead, I have a life where maybe I can't always pay my rent, but I know a lot of really amazing artists, and I've seen so many inspiring, wonderful things. And to me, that's priceless. And my life is kind of half over anyway. So if I made it this far, it's like, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I'll figure it out for the other half so I can keep doing what I love.